Hi, thanks for joining me for this special pick a card reading, where we're going to be focusing on the elements as a way to get in touch with guidance from spirit. But before I begin, I want to say thank you to all my viewers and new subscribers. I post a new pick a card reading every day of the week, so be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. Any question you have about me or my private readings should be answered in the description, but if not, be sure to send me an email at momentsare.yt@gmail.com. Okay, now I'd like for you to focus on these cards. What I've done is that I've picked a card for each element plus a card for spirit, okay? So we've got Earth Magic Oracle cards for Earth. We've got the Universal Love Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno for fire. Oracle of the Mermaids for water. Angel Oracle. Well, it's Healing with the Angels Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue for air. And then we've got the Soul's Journey Lessons card for the spirit, okay? And I just wanted to go ahead and tell you just a bit about these markers because I'd like for you to pick the pile that resonates with you based on what these markers mean, okay? The first marker we have is these Belinus prayer beads, okay? Belinus, Belin, Belen, is a lesser known Celtic god, and I'm very attracted to the concept of him. He is represents love and light and knowledge. Balin actually can mean light, or it can also mean well of knowledge, right? Balin is the god that shines light on everything, okay? And it's also, Belinus is also part of not just the pagan pantheon, but also part of Christianity, and that Bethlehem was actually named after him, as Belinus is Spanish for Bethlehem. And Bethlehem is the city where the light came above it, right? So that's where the parallel comes there. So this is kind of like the sun god Ra, the illuminator of truth, okay? And then we've got the stag. Okay, the stag stands for like passion, virility, fun. It can also stand for like the hunt, obviously. It's a symbol that's brought up a lot in around Beltane or May Day, which is just this kind of spirit of like coupling, and it's more sexual than it is love oriented, but it's a powerful figure. And then we've got this little goddess bell that's got a Celtic design on it. All of these are Celtic designs, just so you know. We've got this Triskelion on Belinus, and then we've got these Celtic knots, and this one has Celtic knots on it as well. And you've got this little silver bell, which I was going to use a little cauldron. I was going to use this, but it was too big. So I decided to use what I call the goddess bell. Sometimes sound is what people use to clear energy, and the goddess bell some people use it to summon creative energy. And the cauldron would stand for like the womb, the creative energy that you can, like creation and all of that. So this is a very feminine symbol, and when you ring it, it clears energy and it draws that creativity towards you. Okay, so we've got Belin for truth and light and knowledge. And then you've got the stag for virility and fun and games and things like that. And like May, like the spring, that kind of thing. And then you've got this goddess bell here for the feminine energy and creativity and all of that good stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a few seconds to pick. If you aren't able to pick the next few seconds, go ahead and pause the video, make your selection, and so that you can feel like you have enough time before we begin. All right, guys, let's go ahead and start with Belinus, okay? Okay, so those of you guys who picked Belinus, for fire, we've got Guardian. For wind, we have Harmony. For earth, we have Eagle. For water, we have Fertility. And for spirit, we have Doubt. Okay. All right, let me go ahead and turn these around towards me so I can take a moment and really focus on this for... Okay. All right. You're being called right now to step up to a new step, like a new place in your life. And this would be in your spiritual life. This is, it could be intellectual, but it's mostly spiritual. Spiritual, like emotional, but the intuitive emotions, the deep emotions, okay? Not superficial emotions, this is deep emotions, deep intuition, and that kind of thing. The thing that strikes me is this fertility card. It reads potential, powerful, creative energy and initiation energy. You're being initiated. We've got 8 on this card, if that means something to you. I always want to communicate the numbers here. And while yes, this could be something that mentions, you know, maybe now would be a good time to try for a baby, or maybe there is a baby coming. This card is a much more about the creative process and creative energy than it is necessarily about literally creating life, okay? So I just wanted to mention that there. So this is like the call right here. Not necessarily the call to action though. This is a call to create. This is a call to be still and listen to what's going on inside of you. And you know that that's what you're being called to do, because we've got Eagle, communication, from the Earth Magic cards, right? The Eagle can see far in many directions, right? And it sees the bigger picture, right? Sometimes when we're living our lives, we forget that the perspective that we have is so much more limited than we can even imagine. So we might, for example, make certain plans so that we you know, make sure that we're going to have a good life. You know, maybe we plan, you know, out like in a couple of years from now, I want to be able to afford, I don't know, a bigger house or something. And then some years from there, then I want to be able to go on a trip, or however, you know, we plan the things that we want to do with our lives to some degree, whether it's far out, like a couple of years, or if it's like the next day, right? The Eagle communication, this card represents that your guides, okay, and in this card, the guide is coming through as an eagle. Your guides can see so much farther than anything you could ever imagine. You're limited by only what you can imagine, basically. And while I definitely respect the imagination and honor and definitely celebrate the fact that it seems almost limitless, it pales in comparison to the actual limitlessness of the entire universe and what the universe can offer you. So right now, these cards are guiding you to kind of go within. Know that you're being initiated into this new place. You're into a new place in your life. Okay, maybe not necessarily a physical place, but a state, an internal state. Okay, where you can see a little bit broader than you could before. You can see like around the corners a little bit more. This might be talking about intuition, or this might just be talking about being more aware and being more in tune with your environment and the patterns around you. And this is definitely directly from a guide. Like I said, you know, the eagle does represent a guide. And then we've got Guardian to kind of make, you know, seal the deal a little bit. Guardian, this card's from the Universal Love, and I love these illustrations. They're very vivid, while also being kind of surreal. They're They're done by Toni Carmine Salerno, okay? If you want to look up her work, sometimes she'll use the same images in different decks, but I still love them. So anyway, so you've got the Guardian image, and what you've got going on in this image is you've got this woman at the front, and she looks kind of like alone. She looks kind of sad and forlorn, okay? And what she doesn't realize is that she's got a guardian right behind her. She's got someone looking out for her. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be something that's from spirit. This can be another person in this person's life. But of course, this could be like a guardian angel or a spirit guide or anything like that as well. It could be her higher self. It could even be her shadow self, because even our shadow selves, that which we want to push away and we don't want to look at, that can even give us guidance. But this isn't a guidance card, it's a guardian card. So you are being protected right now. If there's a place, if there's a place or a situation in your life going on right now where you feel vulnerable, where you feel afraid, where you feel as though maybe you're not as safe, know that you're being protected. That doesn't mean that you should let down your guard and start taking a bunch of risks. It just means that you have more protection than you think, okay? And it's important for you to for me to communicate to you that you do have that protection, okay? Harmony, there's two things to say about this card. On the one hand, there's a superficial level of, okay, well, there's the harmony of getting along with other people. I'm not getting anything from this whole spread that shows me that you have any problems with getting along with other people, okay? And then the more deep message of this card, and by the way, this is Healing with the Angel Oracles with Doreen Virtue. I really love the borders in this card, in this deck. The pictures aren't as vivid as I'd like them to be, but they're really special. This is a special deck to me because it's one of the very first decks that I really, really connected with. But anyway, this Harmony card is more about striking a chord, okay? Something inside of you is going to strike a chord with you and just resonate with you. And what do we do when we make music here? We create, okay? We create our world, we create our life, just like in this card where we're being called to create. We're being called to creation. We're being called to settle ourselves, settle our spirit, and think and contemplate the bigger picture. Things that we know are there, but we don't, we haven't been told exactly. You know, for example, like most people know that the earth isn't flat, that it's round, but you don't have the perspective to actually physically see that unless you were to go up in a spaceship and look down on Earth and see it getting rounder as you go farther away from it, right? That's the kind of perspective I'm talking about. If you're familiar with Plato, you might want, then you would know about the parable of the cave. And if you're not familiar with it, you might want to look it up. It's about a bunch of prisoners that are in a cave, and all they can see are reflections of the outside world from the shadows that are cast on the side of the cave's wall. One of the prisoners ends up escaping and goes outside in the world and sees this world that has all this light. And when they come back, they try to tell the other prisoners about this world that's made up of light, and how the shadows are just so small compared to all of this light and all of the beautiful things one can see in the world. And the prisoners don't understand because they're limited in their scope, right? And this is what this card's talking about. This card's a little concerning on one end, because I know that it can be so painful to have this, but on the other side, it's natural, it's normal, so it's not something that I think is gonna like make a big huge difference for you, but it is something to keep in mind. And it's something that when you find yourself doing this, to kind of pull yourself back a little bit and kind of, you know, give yourself a mental, like, wait a minute, I'm doing that thing, you know, maybe I shouldn't do that. You've got, for your spirit card, you've got doubt. And the affirmation's really important. I release the need to know all the answers, okay? One thing that comes with perspective, okay, is also knowing that you can't have all the answers. It's also knowing that even though you might get outside of the cave and you're not just limited to the shadows, and now you can see all the colors and all the, you know, not just the shadows, but the things that cast the shadows, right? You can see all of these objects that are now in 3D instead of in, you know, in this very black and white, right? You still know that there are things even beyond that you can't see, and that's okay. We're not meant to be able to see that. We're not meant to know all the answers. And remember, sometimes our guides, because this is about getting in touch with guidance, okay? Guidance from spirit. And sometimes our guides know better than we do as far as what to bring about. And really use what works for you in your spiritual life. It might be your higher self. It might be God. It might be spirit. It might be your guardian angels. It might be your spirit guides. It might be your ancestors. Use what works for you, okay? But you know, with the doubt, it's okay to have healthy skepticism, okay? And doubt is a natural part of being human, okay? So I'm not saying don't have any doubt, because that wouldn't make sense, right? What I'm saying though is that sometimes we can doubt too much. And when we doubt too much, then we do need to release our attachment to wanting to have the answers, or our attachment to needing to be perfect. Because when we think of ourselves as capable human beings, and we think of ourselves going into a situation and not having what it takes to succeed in that situation, we start having doubts in ourselves, right? And when you have too much doubt in yourself, then you never try anything. You never go out there and do. And so I think that releasing doubt not only releases the need and an attachment for answers, but it also releases the need and attachment to be perfect. Okay? And remember, we're human. We're supposed to be imperfect. That's why we're here on the earth, okay? The only thing that's perfect is in spirit, is in the mind. What you can imagine can be perfect. But once it goes from the mind to to earth, it's got to fall from grace a little bit. It's got to be a little imperfect. And I think that that's what makes humanity very beautiful. It makes it very scary sometimes too, but it also makes it beautiful. I hope you enjoyed your reading. For those of you who got Belinus, it's a very profound reading. It's definitely something I'm going to be thinking about, because I felt like it was a very profound one for you guys. Hi, group 2. This is for the ones that pick the stag, okay? So for your universal love, I'm sorry, this isn't a tarot card. This is a oracle card. For your universal love, we've got fear. For the healing with the angel oracle, we've got new love. This is good. For the earth magic, we've got rain, which represents purification. For the mermaid, oracle of the mermaids, we've got freedom. Okay, I don't know why, but I really love this card. And for the soul's journey lesson cards, we've got regret. Okay, now let me go ahead and move all of these cards so they're facing me so I can get a good read on this, okay? And please bear with me while I'm just tuning into the energy of all of this. Okay, all right. Let's start with this spirit card. I was thinking about waiting till the end, but this is actually, I think, the most important card here. Everybody has a past, okay, and everybody has that stuff that they've done that, you know, kind of silly, kind of, you know, we mature as we get older, right? We go through different kinds of life lessons, and we learn how to be better than the way we were, and that's the purpose of maturing and living, okay, and growing older is to constantly refine ourselves, okay? So when you experience anything like regret, and I know a lot of people have this no regrets attitude, and then they'll take some risks and everything, and what they'll end up doing is they'll feel guilty, or they might feel a little angry, and they won't admit that there might be a little of regret there. So this might not just be speaking to regret, it might be speaking to guilt as well. And so I just wanted to mention that. Either way, this is about not being able to change the past, okay? And the past, it's back there. It's gone. It has no meaning, okay? I mean, it does, okay? I'm sorry. Let me just totally stop here, okay? The past has meaning, okay? The past has a lot of meaning. I'm just saying that what the focus should be, that should help you feel the most centered and happy, is your present and your future, okay? I am sorry for saying that. I did not mean to be dismissive of the past, because I do respect the past. I definitely respect that. But one thing about the past is that we cannot change it, okay? But we also can choose not to let it affect us as much as it does. And I understand that there are some people who have had experiences, for example, in their childhood or in their adolescence, or they might be going through them right now, that are painful and may take a while to get over, may take a while to come to terms with, may take a while to move past, okay? I understand that. And I'm not saying that you need to let go of everything from your past. I'm just saying that right now, just know that the thing that you have the most control over right now is in your present and in your future. The past, that's where it is. It's in the past. You can't change it, okay? And I'm sorry for getting a little preachy there, but I think it's really important to know that so that we can get to the main message of this, which is the rest of this, okay? So we've got fear. Fear for me, when I read, comes up when someone's about to make a big change, okay? Because there's like, sometimes people can feel like a little anxious. I know anxiety isn't the same as fear, but let's kind of go with it. Somebody can feel a little anxious, and another person might feel a little excited when they face something new. But at the base of that is fear. And the reason I say that is that fear is what triggers that, that adrenaline and that cortisol that makes us go either the anxiety way or the excitement way, right? So while fear can be a very, very powerful motivator, it can also freeze us, right? And it can also make us feel a little resistant, right? Right now, you're in a place where you're being purified, okay? All of that fear is washing away from you, okay? And what's happening here is that you're going to find that over the next few weeks, few days for some of you, that fear that you're feeling is going to be replaced with a more positive excitement, anticipation, that kind of feeling, okay? And one thing that you can do with this energy that's coming through the purification is that you can use this to ground yourself, and purification, you know, drink more water. Of course, I'm not a medical doctor and I can't give any medical advice, but I think that it's safe to go ahead and recommend drinking more water. You know, that purifies our body, right? As long as, you know, you're okay with that. Drinking more water. This could even talk about taking a detox bath. This could talk about purifying your system through going to a sauna even, or exercising a lot, that kind of stuff. But the purification process, I mean, it could also just deal with meditation and and getting your mind clear and pure and that kind of thing. But what this ultimately speaks to, combined with the fear card, is that you're going to reach a point where you no longer feel afraid, okay? This freedom card, right? It says independence and self-determination. And you will find that you have a new mission. You have a new purpose that you'll find in your life. And this can be something small, like a hobby or maybe a side business or something like that. Or it could be something so big, okay, that it could completely change your life and change your lifestyle and all of that. The number for this is 7. I like to mention numbers when they are on the cards because I know that for some people that's meaningful for them. So the number is 7, okay? And so one of the aspects of freedom that you've got, this independence and self-determination that this card describes, is the ability to fall in love with all sorts of new things, right? You can bring all of this, you're just going to be attracting so many things to you. However, I don't want to be dismissive of the fact that this new love card is also speaking to a heightened sense of love for either your existing partner or new love in your life, an actual partnership and an actual person coming into your life. Now, this could be a very close friend, or it could actually be a romantic partner, but this card does indicate that we're clearing the space here. We're getting rid of the fear. We're purifying the spirit. We're getting more independent and self-determined. We're letting go of the past here with this regret card, okay? And we're making our lives clear so that new love can come into it, okay? And for those of you who picked the stag, I just want to say that the time frame on this seems very, very quick, okay? So I would just say a few weeks to maybe 2 months, and you're gonna be right there. So I just want to kind of just go over this one more time and just say, you know, fear is a very powerful force for change, okay? And this is the fire card, okay? This is the deck that I used for fire, which is the universal love, okay, oracle. And fear can act as a catalyst for change, just like heat and fire can in physics, right? You're being purified right now. You're being cleansed. You know you can't change the past. You're letting go of the things that you can't change. You're letting go of that. You're purifying your mind. You're purifying your spirit and your heart. You start feeling like you have more freedom. You have more excitement and anticipation rather than fear and anxiety. You feel more self-determined and more independent. And then you've got this beautiful new love coming, okay? So you guys, I mean, you guys have a beautiful reading, and it looks like you have a beautiful time coming up upon you for the next few weeks and months. So very happy for you guys, really. Hi, Group 3. Those of you who picked the bell, let's go ahead and look at the cards that we got for you. Oh, wow. Okay. I don't want to startle you. This card can be kind of scary, but we'll get to it, I promise. Your spirit card is death. Your water card, Oracle of the Mermaids, is visions. Okay, your earth card, earth magic oracle cards, is the Milky Way, perspectives. Okay, your healing with the angel oracle cards, the one for air, is answered prayer. And your fire card, the universal love oracle, is sacred union, guys. Wow, this is really, really, really intense. This is very, very intense. So let me go ahead and turn these around so I can really hone in. And just bear with me. I apologize. I just got to make sure that I've got a good read on this. Wow, you guys. Okay, I feel like I am talking to some very, very evolved people right now. There's some people that have got stuff together. They have worked. You guys have worked on yourselves really, really hard this past year, I can tell. Or you're just ready. You're at a point where you're just ready for something major to happen. The Death card's very interesting. It's the affirmation for this is, I am learning that endings are merely beginnings, right? One door thing. In nature, death is part of a natural cycle. Okay, it's very, very, very natural. And while death can be a scary word, that's because of the way that we view it socially. It's not actually anything that should be scary. Every single day we die to our old ways and we are reborn to new ways. Okay. I know that, for me, for example, I went on a diet and I died to my old ways of eating carrot cake, right? And I was reborn to my new ways of drinking more water, right? I know that's kind of a silly example, but I think it's important to give an example that's very neutral like that so that you understand that this isn't scary. This is just meaning that you're getting rid of the old so the new can come up, and that is great. So if you found that something has come to an end lately for you, just know that there's a better beginning right now, happening right now, to not necessarily replace it, but to fill the void, okay? And it will be full, okay? Okay, so I want to read these cards in pairs because that's the way that it's speaking to me, and I don't want this bell to get in my way. I'm going to make sure you can see the cards. Okay, Milky Way is perspective, right? This is a very powerful card, right? It's a spiral, right? So we're also talking about cycles here too, you know. And in the Milky Way, you've got lots of cycles here. But perspective is the key word here, and why it's the key word, it's because when we're sitting on Earth, you know, we can only see so much, right? We don't know that the Earth is really round. We take it for granted that it is. The only way that we really can know is if we get into a spaceship and we go into outer space and we watch the world getting smaller and smaller and then turning into a curve and then turning into a little ball, right? And I don't think much of us are going to get that opportunity, okay? And maybe some of my younger viewers will. But the perspective is that what you can see is only so much. There's always so much more. And that's true not just for your eyes, but for all the senses. There's always more that you could hear, taste, smell, touch, and experience. There's always more that you can know. And perspective is not only about acknowledging what you do know, but also about acknowledging that there's so much that you also don't know, and kind of balancing yourself in between that. And then also kind of understanding that other people have the exact same experience. They only know so much, and their perspective is always going to be from what they know and from what they understand. But I believe that this perspective is talking directly towards these visions that are going on with you. You are a very in tune with seeing beyond, I suppose is a good way of putting it. There's this visions card is about psychic imagery, clairvoyance, which is clear seeing and out-of-body travel, okay? And you've got the Milky Way, you know, so like that's a huge out-of-body experience, right? You know, you've got this tunnel and the light there. So I'm sorry, it just kind of hit me. Some of you guys actually might have recently had a near-death experience, because we've got the death card and perspectives and visions here. That could be going on with you guys. Or it could have been that someone you knew passed away and is now giving you, like boosting you a little bit there. I really do think that quite a bit of the people who are watching this video, though, have had a near-death experience, though. I really do. Because it's too perfect. Perfectly lined up here. And it's kind of giving me shivers. Okay, I'll stop on that road, okay? Because I know that not all of you are of that, but if you have, and you would like to share that with me or talk to me about that, you can go ahead and send me an email. I have had a near-death experience myself, but I don't want to waste anybody else's time talking about it. So let me go ahead and just continue with this reading. So we've got visions right here, and what this is telling you with the Milky Way perspectives and what the visions card is telling you is that be ready if you're not already experiencing a whole bunch of psychic activity and that kind of thing. Be ready for it because it's coming. You're about to open up to being so much more aware. And I believe that part of this is because when we are in love and when we come together with our person, it opens us up in so many different ways that it's difficult to talk about it because it's so, as this card says, sacred. It's so special. There's a process that goes on inside of us when we're in love that many people can't explain, right? We become so in tune with this other person that it's like we can read their minds. I'm not saying that everybody experiences this. And if you're a female and you've been in a female-male relationship, I know you know that your guy can't read your mind, and it's very frustrating. And you probably think, right? You probably think, I can read his, why can't he read mine, right? Okay, I'm just using a little humor here. But really, no, I'm serious. This sacred union, you are either in a very, very special relationship right now, or you have just found somebody who you're in a very special relationship with right now, and by being in that relationship with this person, it's opening you up. It's raising your vibration. It's raising your consciousness. It's making you more aware. It's making you more open to these perspectives, right? And this is the new beginning here. This sacred union here. Now, I do want to mention that some words to put to this so that you can kind of understand what I mean by this sacred union. This would be something like a soulmate or a twin flame relationship. This would be like a karmic relationship, a relationship that's meant to be, that kind of thing. A relationship where all of these different coincidences had to happen in order for you guys to meet, and now you guys are together, and it's, you know, either you're together or at least you know of each other, and it's just magical, that kind of thing. That's the kind of union that I'm talking about. And on that twin flame thing, and I am thinking about going ahead and doing a separate video on twin flames anyway, I just want to say this is not a situation where it's toxic or codependent or anything negative. I'm not getting that either one of you guys are feeling negative about this. This isn't a situation where I know some people use the term runner and chaser and that kind of thing. It's not something like that. This is a situation where it's definitely mutual, and it's understood that it's mutual, okay? So if you're not there, you're about to be there with somebody. And if you're already there, this is just confirmation that this is very sacred. This is meant to be. This is that kind of thing. And it's a miracle because it's an answered prayer here, okay? Your guides are bringing this about. They're helping you manifest exactly what you want in this relationship, okay? And they're helping you manifest your new vision, your new ability to see beyond, your new ability to be so much more aware of what's going on in the universe, and bring with you those perspectives that you can ultimately share with other people, and you can help enlighten other people as to what the truth is in any situation that you're in, that you have that kind of guidance and you have that kind of gift. So you guys are in a really, really special place right now spiritually, and I just want to let you know I fully support you. And if you need anything from me, go ahead and send me an email, because I'm very open to talking to anybody who has had a near-death experience or who just wants to know more about it. I can give some links to you guys. Yeah, if you guys need any kind of like heads up or guidance on that, go ahead and send me a message, because yeah, this stuff's important stuff. I mean, it's heavy stuff and it's big stuff, and I want to make sure that you guys know that I am supportive of that journey. And I didn't say this card, Visions, it's, the number for this is 37. Okay, so that might be meaningful for you. I do like to say the numbers when there is a number on a card, because I know that's important to know. And I mean, really, it looks heavy, but it looks good though. And it looks great for you guys. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. I appreciate everybody who's stuck with me to the end here. If you have any kind of feedback or suggestions for a pick a card reading, go ahead and leave those in comments, and I'd really love to hear from you guys. Thank you.